All right, so we're going to start on using the terminal block, which is at the end here, but it's all dirty and it's got lots of excess solder on it, so we're going to clean them up. So we have the choice of a solder wick or the solder sucker, and the solder sucker is vacuum powered. So what we need to do is we got to get the solder to a liquid state. So same thing is heat it up, clean it, add a little bit of solder to it. And what we're going to do is we're going to heat that terminal up until it's liquid. Get my solder sucker and come in and, oh, didn't work. Make sure it's ready. Then come in and it sucks all the solder away. And then when I reset it, it should eject all the excess solder back on. So put it back in the garbage. It's nice and ready. Quick and easy. The other way is the wick. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you got enough wick available because it's going to get hot. So again, clean your iron, add a little bit of solder, place your wick on top of what you're working on, and heat the wick and the work. And you notice this solder is going up into the wick. And I'm just moving it ahead as I can with the iron. And there's lots of solder on here, so it's going to take quite a bit. I may have to stop and cut it off, but it's coming pretty close. So there it is, nice and clean and ready for you to solder. You'll notice all the black or brown, that's all your flux that's coming out of the solder. So it's still left on there. We can clean up afterwards with our isopropyl. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our wire. Again, we'll strip our 22 gauge wire. Nice and easy. Didn't work. Try it again. So we'll get the 22 wire, get it in the right spot. Stripped it nice this time. This time what we're going to do is we're going to tin it, but this time we're going to tin it just a little bit, just to hold it so we can form our hook. Again, a little bit underneath, just a little wee bit to hold it. So now I'm going to take it, I'm going to bend it to my shape of a hook. So now the hook is ready. I can form it and I can trim it afterwards. I'm going to place it up through the eyelet. Hold it straight coming out so that heat shrink can go over top afterwards. I'm going to take and squeeze it with my fingers so it closes. And it's a little bit high according to my wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and trim it just a little bit. Squeeze it down, touching each other. Take my iron, clean it. Add a little bit of solder. And again, this time I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to add the solder. Get lots of solder on there. Seeing it flowing, and I'm going to wipe it down to cover, wipe it up to cover that opening so it's full. Check with my wire. I should have roughly my outside diameter away. Good. So when you work on a Canon connector that's been soldered, the opening is going to be full of solder, so we're going to have to clean it out just like we did before. So again, a bit of solder on your tip. This time what you're going to do is heat up the socket that you want to desolder. Sometimes you can go to the back of it. Makes it easy. And again, what you want to do is wait till it starts to melt, and there it goes. And then quickly get in there, and it should come out nice and clean. And there's all the solder that we sucked out of it. So we're good. So the same process now is grab our wire. So we got our 22 gauge wire, our strippers. This time I'm only going to need probably about 1/4 of an inch. Strip it. And what I want to do is I want to test it. So I'm going to place it in there, and you'll see I'm a little bit high. I only want the width of my wire, or outside diameter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, I'm going to trim a little bit off with my flush cutters. Now I'm assuming it will go in a little bit when I heat it up, and that should give me the correct depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my iron, clean it, add the solder. This time I'm going to go to the back of it so I can watch the front. Add a bit of solder, and then I'm going to hold it onto the front and make sure it's full. I don't want to see any strands of the wire left. I just need enough so that it's full. I don't want it coming out too much in a big huge bubble. So now I'm going to double check, and I should have the width of my wire away. Should be still flexible. I'm going to clean that off with some alcohol, isopropyl, get rid of the flux, and it's ready for heat shrink.